Hi, it's James here today. And I never thought I'd say this. I'm 51 and I have a decent lifestyle, but my lifestyle, at the end of the day, is going down the tubes. Every time I leave the door, go to the grocery store, it's more and more money. Gas station, more and more money. Car repairs, oh, I don't even want to go there. Fuck, I I can do my basic oil changes and stuff. I had a brake job done. It was $800. I'm like, fuck. The cost of living in Canada, for an average person, just going to work, making 50 grand, 60 grand a year, and trying to own a home, pay your property taxes, it's out of control. Simple as that. You know, and I'm the cheapest person you would meet. I count every penny, count every kilometer that I drive, and count all the gasoline I burn, just to make sure everything's accounted for. And the government doesn't seem to have a solution for this. It's a simple solution: create more well paying jobs. You know, you gotta have well paying jobs like they did in the 80s and 90s at the big three, and people could afford anything they wanted. If they don't do that, they're fucking screwed. You know, you get your property tax bill and you just wake up in the morning and you're stressed out for 3 weeks. You're like, holy fuck. You know, simple concept. Get your hydro bill. You know, I turn off every light. I turn the TV off when I leave home. I used to leave everything on. Lights on, the front porch light on. Fuck that. I don't leave anything on anymore. Fuck that shit. You get eaten alive by these corporations. They're just greedy. And it's tough to survive as an average worker. You know, I'm 51 and I've accumulated some stuff, not fully paid off, but I'm doing okay. But for the young generation right now, trying to buy a house, get a secure job that pays enough to buy a house, that's impossible. Like, fuck. I don't want to say this. I worked for non-unionized and unionized companies, and unionized companies are better, and they should be promoting unions in every company. Make the wages better, fight for a better life. But from James today, my story is like generations are supposed to get better as we progress, and they're not whatsoever. I don't know if it's the government's fault or whose fault it is, but it could be greed, company greed. I worked for a company, they were greedier than hell. All they want to do is make their millions of dollars and live lavish lifestyles, drive beautiful cars. And, they need to do something about it. It's as simple as that. The average person these days, you go to the grocery store and you're looking around, you want to eat healthy. Sometimes I like my junk food. There's no question about that. But I like to eat some healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables once in a while. And you go in, you're like, holy shit. That's like fucking gonna cost me $40. Well, at the end of the day, you walk in the grocery store and you got a budget. I budget myself. I don't bring a shopping list in. I budget myself of whatever's on sale or knocked down half price. And it's tough. Tough to make ends meet when you get bills coming in. And you can have a couple investments. I have a couple investments, but investments don't pay you overnight. You got to wait 10, 20 years to get a return on them. But I'm glad, 100% glad I'm not 25 years old right now. You know, if you inherit your parents' house, you got lucky at a young age. But anyways, just a story from James today. And our economy's fucked. You know, an average person with half a brain should be able to go get a decent paying job and own a decent home and own a decent car. And from what I see, it don't look like it's happening. You know, and they got to get their shit together. You know, where they call us the freest country in the world. Yeah, we're free, all right. Fuck. Free to debt slaving. Anyways, my story today in James on being free to debt slaving.